Imagine waking up one day to find that every decision you've ever made, every risk taken, every path avoided, every love pursued or abandoned, was not really yours at all. Not in the way you think. Not because of fate or luck or even circumstance, but because something far more intimate, far more deceptive, was pulling the strings. Your emotions. Not the grand, dramatic passions that sweep you off your feet, but the quiet, whispering ones, the ones that slip into your thoughts like smoke, coloring your perceptions before you even realize they're there. The ones that decide before you do what you fear, what you desire, and ultimately what you become. Here's the unsettling truth: you are not the author of your life. At least not yet. Because beneath the surface of every choice, every belief, every destiny you've ever chased, there is an invisible script. Written not by reason, not by some higher power, but by the raw, unfiltered currents of your emotions. And the most terrifying part? You don't even know it's happening. Think of the last time you made a decision that altered the course of your life. Was it really you who chose? Or was it the quiet, gnawing fear of failure that made you turn down the opportunity? The buried resentment that pushed you away from someone who could have loved you? The unspoken craving for validation that led you into a career you never truly wanted? We like to believe we are rational beings. That we weigh our options, consider the facts, and act with intention. But the deeper truth is far more unsettling. Your emotions are the ghostwriters of your fate. They shape what you see, what you allow yourself to see. They dictate what you believe is possible, what you think you deserve. And in doing so, they silently draft the story of your life, sentence by sentence, while you mistake their whispers for your own voice. The very emotions that make you feel most alive, love, ambition, fear, desire, are the same ones that may be scripting your demise. How many dreams have been abandoned not because they were impossible, but because the fear of disappointment was louder than the hunger for them? How many relationships have withered not from a lack of love, but from the unspoken terror of vulnerability? How many lives have been lived in quiet resignation, all because the emotions beneath the surface whispered, "This is all you'll ever be?" And the most haunting question of all: if your emotions are writing your destiny without your consent, how do you take back the pen? This is not a question of mere self-improvement. This is a question of sovereignty. Of whether you are living a life you've chosen, or one that has been chosen for you by forces you've never fully confronted. The answer lies not in suppressing your emotions but in understanding their power. Not in denying their influence but in exposing it, dragging it into the light where you can finally see the strings they've been pulling all along. Because once you see them, once you truly see them, you can begin to rewrite everything. You do not feel your emotions, they feel you. They are not passive reactions but active architects, shaping your reality before you even perceive it. And the most dangerous illusion of all is the belief that you control them. Carl Jung called this the shadow, the unconscious undercurrent of desires, fears, and instincts that dictate behavior without consent. Viktor Frankl, surviving the horrors of Auschwitz, observed that even in the most brutal circumstances, the last human freedom is the ability to choose one's attitude. But how many of us ever exercise that freedom? How many even realize it exists? The problem is not that emotions exist, it's that they operate in stealth. They hijack perception like a silent virus, rewriting the code of your decisions before you're aware of the intrusion. Nietzsche warned, "There are no facts, only interpretations." But what he didn't say is that most interpretations are handed to you by your own unresolved pain. A child who internalizes, "I am unworthy," will, as an adult, reject love before it can reject them. A person who associates ambition with danger will sabotage success to remain safe. The past doesn't just haunt you, it edits your future in real time. Modern neuroscience reveals an uncomfortable truth. Much of what you call preferences are just chemical conditioning. Social media exploits your craving for validation, rewiring your brain to seek empty approval. Comfort becomes an addiction because your brain mistakes familiarity for safety. You are not choosing, you are being puppeteered by ancient reward circuits. Sartre wrote, "Man is condemned to be free, but most flee this freedom by letting emotions decide for them." Anger disguises itself as righteousness. Loneliness masquerades as independence. Fear dresses itself up as being realistic. You think you're making choices, but you're just rationalizing impulses you don't understand. Schopenhauer saw it clearly: man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. You believe you want what you want, but why do you want it? Is your ambition truly yours, or is it a desperate rebellion against an old voice that said, "You'll never be enough"? Is your loneliness a fact, or a self-fulfilling prophecy written by the fear of rejection? Aldous Huxley's Brave New World warned of a society pacified by pleasure. But the real dystopia is internal, a mind pacified by its own emotions, mistaking them for truth. This is not about eliminating emotion. It's about exposing the lie that you are powerless against it. The moment you realize your emotions are not reality, but interpretations of reality, is the moment you begin to reclaim your destiny. But first, you must face the most unsettling question. How much of your life has already been written for you? You walk through life believing you are free. But what if the very fabric of your reality, your relationships, your ambitions, even your self-image, has been woven by emotions you've never questioned? This is the silent tyranny of the unexamined heart. And its consequences are everywhere. You believe you chose your career, your partner, your beliefs. But dig deeper. Did you choose stability, or did fear of uncertainty choose for you? Did you choose solitude, or did past betrayals condition you to expect abandonment? Did you choose your politics, or did your need for belonging align you with a tribe before reason could intervene? Studies in cognitive neuroscience reveal that the brain rationalizes decisions after they've been made by emotional impulses. You are not the pilot of your life. You are the PR spokesperson justifying flights you didn't authorize. Emotions don't just influence decisions, they manufacture the evidence to justify themselves. Anxiety filters the world for threats, making danger feel inevitable. Resentment collects injustices like a curator, building a museum of grievances. Insecurity distorts reflections, turning neutral feedback into rejection. Your emotions don't respond to reality, they create their own. And the more you obey them, the more proof they gather to tighten their grip. This is why two people can experience the same event and walk away with opposite truths. It's not the world that shapes you, it's the emotional lens through which you see the world. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because their emotions redefine failure before they even try. The fear of humiliation becomes, "I'm not the kind of person who does that." The discomfort of effort becomes, "This just isn't for me." The ache of envy becomes, "They're just lucky." Your emotions don't just steer you, they build the roads, then convince you there are no other routes. And so, potential withers. Not with a bang, but with a whisper, "This is just who I am." Society doesn't help. Consumerism thrives on your unresolved emotions, selling you products to numb loneliness, status symbols to soothe inadequacy, outrage to give purpose to your unfocused anger. Social media algorithms learn your emotional triggers, feeding you content that reinforces your existing biases, fears, and desires. You think you're browsing, but you're being conditioned. Even education and religion, for all their wisdom, often become emotional crutches, systems of certainty to spare you the terror of unanswered questions. You are not just a prisoner of your emotions. You are in a prison that convinces you it's home. There is a way out. But it begins with a devastating, liberating admission. You have been complicit in your own captivity, not because you're weak, but because no one ever told you that emotions are not commands, they are data. And data can be questioned. The first law of emotional sovereignty is this: you are not your feelings. You are the one who witnesses them. This is the great divide between those who live by their emotions and those who live through them. The difference is not control, it's consciousness. Every emotion has a history. That sudden rage in traffic? It might be the echo of a childhood where you felt powerless. The paralysis before a career leap? Perhaps the ghost of an old failure still whispering, "See? I told you." Your emotions are not random. They are echoes. Exercise. Next time a strong emotion hijacks you, pause and ask, when was the first time I remember feeling this? What old wound is this touching? You'll often find that your present reactions are past shadows, and shadows dissolve in light. William James, the father of psychology, discovered a radical truth. Action shapes emotion, not the other way around. If you wait to feel confident before acting, you may wait forever. But if you act as if you're confident, the feeling follows. Try this. Feeling unworthy? For 1 week, act as if you deserve respect. Observe what changes. Stuck in self-doubt? Spend a day making decisions as if you trust yourself. You'll discover an astonishing truth. Emotions are habits, and habits can be rewritten. Emotions are like storms, intense but temporary. Implement this law. Never make a life-altering decision when emotionally flooded. The text you want to send in anger? Wait 24 hours. The resignation letter fueled by frustration? Sleep on it. The romantic confession born of loneliness? Let it breathe. Wisdom is not the absence of emotion. It's the ability to outlast it. Nietzsche's concept of amor fati, love of fate, offers the ultimate emotional hack. Not merely to endure, but to love what is necessary. That heartbreak. It's data for your next chapter. That rejection? Redirection in disguise. That failure? The price of a lesson no success could teach. When you stop fighting reality, reality stops fighting you. Here's a question that shatters self-deception. What would the best version of me feel in this situation? Your current self feels insulted. Your best self feels amused. Your current self fears rejection. Your best self feels curiosity. Your current self craves approval. Your best self enjoys authenticity. You don't need to eliminate emotions. You need to upgrade them. This is where most stop reading. They want answers but resist the labor of application. But you felt the shift already. That subtle tension between, "This makes sense," and "but what if it's hard?" That's the sound of your old emotional wiring fighting for survival. Let it struggle. The moment you act against an emotion is the moment it loses its power over you. There is a secret that every great philosopher, psychologist, and spiritual teacher has tried to convey, not as a concept, but as a lived experience. Your emotions do not write your destiny. You do. Not by controlling them, but by realizing something so fundamental it's almost laughable. You are not trapped inside your emotions. You are the space in which they arise. The root of suffering is not emotion itself, but the silent, unquestioned mantra, "I am this." I am angry becomes, "I must act on this anger." I am afraid becomes, "I must avoid this fear." I am unworthy becomes, "I must prove otherwise." But here is the truth that liberates. You are not the storm. You are the sky that holds it. When you stop claiming emotions as identity, they lose their tyranny. For years, you've tried to fix your emotions, suppressing the bad ones, clinging to the good ones. But true freedom lies in the opposite direction. Let them be. Rage doesn't need to be acted upon. It can simply burn until it turns to ash. Fear doesn't need to be obeyed. It can just tremble until it exhausts itself. Grief doesn't need to be rushed. It can unfold like a slow, necessary tide. The moment you stop resisting an emotion is the moment it stops resisting you. Close your eyes and try this now. Recall a recent emotional moment, not as the one who felt it, but as an impartial observer. Notice how the charge lessens. This is the power of meta-awareness, the ability to step back and watch your emotions without drowning in them. The anxious mind says, "This will never work." The witnessing mind says, "How interesting that I think that." Distance is the antidote to possession. After all the techniques, the psychology, the philosophy, here is the final, unshakable truth. You are not your emotions. You are the one who chooses what to do with them. The same fear that crushes one person becomes another's fuel for courage. The same grief that destroys one soul becomes another's well of compassion. The same anger that consumes one mind becomes another's fire for justice. The difference isn't the emotion, it's the relationship you have with it. From this moment forward, your life will present you with a choice, again and again. Will I let this feeling dictate my destiny, or will I use it as clay to shape a wiser, truer self? There is no right answer, only consequences. But if you've read this far, you already know. The pen is in your hands now. The rest of the story? It's yours to write.